What up, traders? What up, investors? Ken here from Dyslexic Investor, and thank you for joining our wonderful live stream called, it's basically going to have snacks, stocks, look at charts, and of course, with the big news tonight, having Amazon, Facebook, Apple, and Google earnings after the close. So this is going to be, again, I think I read it was like $5.5 trillion worth of market cap that's going to be after the bell today. We have those other interesting ones that could be populating out as well. We also have MGM, we have EA, and Gilead as well reporting, and of course the Ford Motor Company as well reporting this afternoon, evening as well. Yeah, ready for earnings for sure. Thank you, Makeshift Player. Definitely, it's going to be very interesting to see on how everything plays out. We've had a kind of a yesterday into today, kind of like a little bit of market sell-off, and kind of not a sell-off, but more like a consolidation pattern. It's not really just kind of going anywhere. Some things were kind of hit pretty bad. I actually got shaken out of my Zoom calls this morning. My stop got executed due to investigation into Zoom because like TikTok or whatever, and I had my stop a little bit too close to the battlefield, and it got nipped, sadly. But I might be putting it back on, but I really don't want to right now. Kind of see how the overall market takes with this current news, and especially just really focusing on these earnings coming out. I hope everyone else brought some snacks or a nice hydration treat for yourself. I got my water, I got some peanuts, and some trail mix, basically. Alright, let's see here. Let's get this out of the overlay here. Alright, just so you see my charts now. You're looking at SPY, Standard & Poor's S&P 500. This thing has, again, as we talked about, this white box has basically just been the overall trend. Looking at the understanding of potentially what could happen. We're really just consolidating here. We kind of broke out above this little tight range, then kind of coming back, hovering around, potentially building a base here. And then we're going to be deciding if we want to continue going, we can continue on the upward trend, or we want to continue downward trend. Right now, again, like we talked about, consolidation pattern, and just really waiting to see on what really happens. Again, huge emphasis on the earnings tonight. Again, $5.5-ish trillion worth of market cap reporting. So that's a pretty substantial amount. And of course, a lot of them were just on a WebEx on talking to Congress about everything from issues from antitrust to monopoly practices, all kinds of stuff. So that really wasn't a good look for them, without a doubt. And some of it is probably true, especially with some of the Amazon tactics, and of course Google, and of course Facebook, and Apple's is not a perfect angel as well when it comes to certain tactics. But that being said, let's go ahead and just start with Amazon. So Amazon, here on the daily chart, we had this little blue box here, basically anticipating a particular move within this box. To the upside, to the downside. Let me actually change this colors. It's actually super bright on my eyes. Let's do like a off grayish. There we go. That looks a little bit better. So how we got this box is basically when you go to the trade tab and you go look at the upcoming options expiration, saying 175. This is called $175 plus or minus of this closing week, or basically tomorrow. Basically, that's what we're looking at, that range here, to see on how that overall plays out there, and to seeing if that could be a particular candidate and going forth there. We do have a squeeze indicating volume's been kind of low again due to consolidation period. We are breaking a little bit of a movement here on the volume oscillator as well, to potentially see some higher highs. Oliver, let's see. BLNK is on its way up because that's the one I saw that. Yeah, this is going to be a lot of that FOMO mentality. Like, it's basically like Kodak. Like you saw yesterday, Kodak just literally just got in the drug business and they went up, skyrocketed. And what are they at right now? I probably haven't typed it in today. I just had to restart my Thinkorswim because I had a little bit of issues. I always like to restart it to make sure that everything runs fine for the stream. Chris, yeah, I also played UPS as well, but I sold puts. I didn't make 300%. Congrats, my friend. I think I made like 25. Yeah, but this one is just, again, kind of had that really strong FOMO mentality run up here. Kind of came back to the 21, and now it's taken off again. Could potentially, again, this can run for a long period of time. Could just be trading sideways, and then it kind of has to wait for moving averages coming down. I really don't want to be touching this with 10-foot pole. It's not really my trading style, so I really can't give you too much insight there on that other Gomez. Let's see here. Newbie, I got tickled and I got tricked into a play today. Robinhood shows I had 3 day trades available. Once I took a play, it changed, and now I have no day trades. LOL. So holding on to Apple calls into earnings. Ugh, I'm sorry to hear that, my friend. That really was a bummer. Makeshift, I'd love to see how Apple does. Remember last earnings, they did a buyback. So I think what I read too, Makeshift, was that Apple's going to be, the first time ever, is going to be giving this new formula of basically saying, they have this new formula where they're going to give like a lifetime customer loyalty number or something like that. I have no idea what the heck that means. I guess we'll find out. That's something that they're going to be starting to give out, and to kind of basically, I think I'm more of a devil's advocate sometimes of looking at like, hey, they're just saying that because not many people are upgrading their iPhones as much as they thought. So they're just going to be like, oh, well, they're still in the system and they're using Apple Pay. The average user uses this much on monthly buying of apps. The average user buys X amount of storage for iCloud, blah, 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 blah. So I think it's going to be kind of somehow they do with their the tracking of that new metric that they're going to be pushing out, I think this quarter. I believe I heard that. So with Apple's been, again, super strong trend all the way up here, then hitting a lot of chop up here due to, again, once that Intel stuff kind of came out, really just hurt Apple, and then we had that overall shift in the overall market. Kind of a lot of the tech-heavy stocks really just kind of sold pretty heavy last 2 days last week, and it really just came down. But now we're seeing that bounce back, really holding that 21 very well. We like that trend. Of course, on the daily side, we like to see the 21.34. So the 21 is the yellow, the orange is the 34 EMAs. And we really like to hold that trend for the kind of trades that we do, is more likely swing tradings and things like that. If you're more interested in day trading, you're really looking around the 5 and 8 and using the 21 for like a bouncing metric. WRTC, what is that? Sounds, yeah, I don't even know what this is, honestly. I'll be straight with you, Oliver. Chris is that I have the 395, 825 call for Apple. 395 for Apple. What is it? What is it at right now? Like 370, 384, 395. Let's see what that says on the charts here. You said August? Oh, August 28th. Okay. So you're giving yourself plenty of time. 95. Pretty substantial. Let's see what they have the delta for that one. I'm going to guess it's probably going to be around like 4. Okay. Basically 40. I was going to say 42. 40. 39-ish. So what that number is telling me is that it's basically this number, the delta, is saying what is the probability. So it's 39%, 40%, of this option being in the money at expiration. Again, anything can happen. It can move up and move back down. Of course, not many folks hold the whole term of the option to get up there. It's just a good metric to kind of look at that. But there is quite a few options here traded. I really want to look here at August on what's going on here this month. There's a lot of activity coming in around the 390, a lot probably around 400, and then 415. A lot of volume and those Apple plays coming in those days. Oh, really? That's awesome. Thank you, Oliver. I learned something new today. Thoughts on EA? Yeah, we can look at EA as well, my friend. So EA, again, it kind of looks similar to Apple. It's really holding that 21 very well. Again, going to earnings, just be super mindful. Going to earnings is kind of a coin flip, so be mindful of that. Could be easily taken either direction of, again, numbers can be great, they can beat on everything, but if the outlook or if the analysts don't like a certain metric or something, it can just be spin a certain direction and just really can get down ticked. But with EA, I like it. It's really holding here on the daily side, that 21 and 34 EMA, which we like to follow. None of the moving averages are crossed over. The only thing I'm seeing here is that we need to really see the really big headwind is, again, earnings right here. And the overhaul parabolic SAR basically needs to break 141 to the upside to really break that parabolic SAR. But that being said, we can kind of look here on the EA options. It's going to be much lighter than Apple without a doubt, but there's a lot of options activity around the 140. Again, that's going to be a huge play if it can break 140, because again, what are they saying for options this week? They're saying basically a move of $8, so it's pretty significant. $8 from where we're currently at is basically could break all-time highs, or it could be going back to the downside to potentially around that 50-day moving average there. Again, EA, if you're playing, consolidating, thinking of like, what are some new titles that are coming out? Are sports going to be opening back up? More people are going to want to play the sports games, things like that. It's a difficult one. Again, I'm not going to be one to kind of anticipate earnings, but I've seen this one kind of just flip-flop back and forth. And of course, my style of trading is going to be more selling premium rather than just betting on a direction. But we'll see how that overall plays out, without a doubt. Because again, a lot of earnings coming out today. Anthony, thank you for joining, my friend. Chris, Team. Yeah, Team. So ServiceNow kind of got smacked across the face last night. And this could be, I know it's in a totally different a different market and a different segment of the market. But with Team, you kind of see some overhead pressure here around 190, 191. It's very hard to see it on this chart, but let me swing it over to this one. I bet you might highlight it if I put it to like a daily side. So you can see these yellow lines, a lot of overhead pressure, overhead ceiling of resistance, basically call it. And we can kind of see that kind of really could potentially damper this. That being said, we do have earnings. I believe it's today as well, right? Yeah, 30th, so that's another pretty large company, or it's going to be very popular due to the overall pandemic of a lot of teams and a lot of different groups of devs or product managers be switching to Asana to basically help them manage things, be more effective, working remote, things like that. I think that can definitely see an uptick in that without a doubt, but again, having that assumption doesn't mean the stock has to go up. Again, earnings can be great, but they could miss us slightly on sales or new revenue, whatever. It could be a complete coin flip, and I don't want to be playing that kind of Russian roulette with my money, especially with earnings. Kelsey, what do you think of XLNX? Let's look at that. I hope that's not a penny stock. Oh, no. Okay. I don't even know what this does. What does this company do? I've never heard of this in my life. This looks really strong. It's kind of, let me look this on looks like it's a newer stock as well. Looked like it had an IPO here and really just got beaten up, which most IPOs are overhyped. And it's just way overhyped. A lot of IPOs, they sell more than the expectations can meet. There's a formula that I've seen with IPOs where basically wait the first 2 quarters and then buy 7 or 8 weeks after the second quarter, and you can kind of see that with a lot of companies. And I should probably make a video on that to kind of look at those analytics of basically in the sense of that. But this one, again, with IPOs, really get killed here with the first 2 quarters, got really knocked out here with this quarter. Again, then we came to the pandemic, really sold off as well down to here. Then had some little bit of issues kind of getting above the 200-day exponential moving average. Finally did break above it, and now kind of bouncing around here looking for all-time highs, again at 221. So we can kind of look at some fibs here. So the previous high is at 121.04. This again is going to be a very strong indicator to breaking that. As of right now, we are above the $100 price target, which is great. That's the 618 percentile move for the Fibonacci retracements. Potentially, this pulls back. We're going to be looking around the 102 to 100 time frame there, or I mean price target. As of right now, we have broken above the 78.6 percentile move as well, about 109.95. Again, being up nearly 4% today, $4. It has already moved, and it looks also has earnings coming out after the bell today as well. So this is again going to be really playing a coin flip and seeing how that overall plays out as well. Potentially, next upside target is going to be that previous high, but that is pretty substantial where we're currently sitting. Options market is only saying a move of this Friday or tomorrow of $6.50. That's not going to be able to put you up here at the 221 level, but we'll see on that overall plays out without a doubt. And this looks pretty interesting play. If you're in it, you're really just kind of riding it. Maybe if you're in it today, you want to take a little bit off before you want to take the risk into earnings. But I won't be able to buy into this until it kind of pulls back to like some of the key levels there, my friend. But great looking stock. XOM, is that Exxon or is that Comcast? I always get those two mixed up. Exxon. It's gonna be a hard play. Like the oil stocks and the overall manufacturing of oils kind of got just a bad name. I want to call it like the tobacco stocks, but taking some water here real fast. Bouncing back, like airlines should bounce back too, but how much are you willing to wait for that to happen? Would you rather buy an Exxon, or would you rather buy looking at buying an Okta or a Google or an Apple or whatever kind of things? But particularly with this stock, it's just kind of not looking very well with the trend. Yes, it can bounce, it can rebalance itself and things like that, but we really are below the 200-day, which is never a good sign. We are below the 21. The parabolic SAR has just switched to the top here. So again, with earnings as well, I believe this is on Friday, right? Friday morning. Yeah, so it's Friday morning, and looking at potentially even going lower again with earnings, complete coin flip. I wouldn't want to touch it. Looks like the dividend's still fairly safe here as well. Again, the 5 and 8 have crossed through the 21 and have not broken or crossed through it to the upside, so that's never a good concern. I can't tell you to buy this pre-earnings. Again, things can get bad, good, or ugly. Looks like last earnings was kind of a mixed bag there as well, losing quite a bit. I haven't seen them lose like this much before. Again, it's not a tech advanced company, so it's going to be a little bit more like if you're just really trying to collect dividend here. Dean, any idea on SRNE? So we traded that one a little bit. So we bought this in basically here around 450, 475. I don't know, about like 5,000 shares or something like that. I'm sorry, not 5,000, 1,000 shares. Popped up to that 50-day or the 50 percentile move at the time, sold it, got up to the 618, sold some more. then it kind of had a pullback, and then now it's kind of bouncing back from that 21, and that parabolic SAR, which is those little purple dots, have been nice support and trend as well to kind of keep this continue to be playing to the upside. As of right now, we're in a pretty tight trading range between that $7.64 and $8.67, between the 8.6 and the 618 as well, kind of just bouncing in around that. Everything is still looks like it wants to continue trending higher. We have a questionable earnings. We have 2 days of a squeeze. Would like to see this a little bit longer play out, and then everything else looks fairly strong to the upside. But there's a lot of overhead resistance at that $8.67. Alpaca stuff. Love is gonna tank. Could I consider going all in at 25? I can't tell you if it's going to tank, but it's trending down. So the squeeze just fired lower, and the squeeze could last anywhere to 5 to 7 dots, meaning that it continue going down to certain levels. I think we did this last time for you, my friend. We did the retracement, so this previous swing high to the low to the high again. We're looking at that, basically that 38.2 percentile move around $28.52. Potentially it can come down to $24.24, even come down to 20. I don't think it's going to come down completely to 20 unless there's completely terrible news and things need to be shut down even worse than prior, and everything just really gets shut down and ratcheted again. Love is one of the better airlines in the sense of their balance sheets, what I've read and what I've also heard from different various more fundamental analysts and sources. That being said, that 5 and 8 is still carrying it lower. Those 5 and 8 moving averages, which is the purple and white line, have not leveled off yet, and they have not crossed to the 21. This is just not a really sexy chart to the upside, potentially, and I don't want a bottom fish here as well. This really needs to kind of change here with the trend. We're at a very negative level here on the volume zone oscillator, so it can definitely go substantially lower, but we just don't know in time. Jake, I'm playing QQQ for less risky earnings play. Yes, that's a good way to do it as well. So you can play the Qs, which is NASDAQ ETF here, and of course all the tech-heavy stocks are within the NASDAQ, so that's going to be a great way to protect yourself to picking one or the other winners in that kind of manner. With the QQQs, again, we're still holding that 21 EMA. We did have that little washout day, but that 34 did come in for moral support and give us a pat on the back, and we kind of really bounced back from that. Now just kind of trading between the 5 and 8 exponential moving average of the 21. Again, really having that overhead pressure here. If we can break above 265, that is going to be very strong to the upside. To the downside, if we start seeing and breaking below that 253, we could be seeing some further downside there. So again, these are just kind of your guide markers when you're trading these various stocks. Oliver, what do you think about TOL? Is that Toll Brothers? Toll Bros. Oh, this one looks pretty ripe for a fib one. This was around the 50%. Yeah. So for the previous click. There we go. So for the previous high to low, we have broken above that 50% retracement, and we're just now kind of above that 618, which is also a good sign. With being above the 200-day, the moving averages are fairly nicely stacked within the 5, 8, 21, 34, 50. Once that 50 can cross to the 200-day, that's going to be also a great sign for potential higher movement. We have the purple parabolic SAR dots as well on the underneath the candle, so that's also a good sign for continuous uptrend here to kind of see how that plays out into the next couple days. Looking for the potential next target of being around 4160. To the downside, support is going to come around 3555 or where the 21 EMA lies. But this one looks fairly strong. It looks like it's potentially, it kind of broke above this previous consolidation period around 37. If we can see that continue kind of trending higher, that would be fantastic for this looking chart. Alex, You think Amazon can hit 3001? Yes, I can for sure do that. See that. Will it happen tomorrow? I'm not sure, but we'll have to kind of wait and see. Again, earnings, as you know, is a complete coin flip, and we really have to be very patient, and we're not going to be running in and just doing YOLO trades in it. Amazon has held the 21 very well here on the daily chart. Did kind of snap back a little bit, but it did close above 21, so it's pretty significant here. There's going to be a lot of overhead pressure around the 32, 34. As of today, we're up basically $34. We were down significantly, and basically in the whole market, we're down pretty strong here in the overall trading range. But let's get rid of this real fast because it's kind of giving me a headache. That being said, it's really holding at 21. We do have a squeeze indicating huge outlier of being the the earnings. That's going to really dictate on where the next move is going to happen. If you're in it, if you want to take some off, if you're nervous about it, go right ahead. But with that volume zone also just crossing over positive, RSI has been kind of flat. And then we can kind of look here on a longer time frame of like a weekly time frame. It's been fairly strong here, coming down. So on the weekly side, if you want a very fast supportive momentum stock, you're really going to be looking at the 10, a 8 to 10 exponential moving average. So the 8 is going to be the purple line here, the pink line. That's what's coming down to there. This has been holding this trend ever since basically the pandemic, or the wash that we had, the crash, doing air quotes, that we've had, and now it's just been really strong trending from that. Really going to be, I think it's one of the stronger companies that's going to be coming out on the other side of the pandemic, being even stronger than it was coming in. Chris, why didn't PayPal go up any higher? Had some calls that broke even right now. So PayPal, as we talked about with, they had earnings as well last night. And it's all about IV. It's about the implied volatility in the stock. And there's still a lot of implied. Yes, they had a pretty decent move. Again, they closed yesterday around 184. Now it's up 4%, depending on what call you had, or where you bought them at, or what price. You're really going to be having to wait to kind of see what potentially a lot of the volatility is going to be potentially sucked out come tomorrow, due to, again, 4 large companies reporting today after the close. That's really going to take out a lot of volatility potentially, because again, a lot of people are debating if Apple or Amazon or Google is going to be able to make money, or what's their outlook going to be. What are they going to say about guidance? Are they going to see a slowdown whatsoever? It could be a completely wash on the board. I would just be interested to hear on what kind of options you bought. I'm guessing you potentially bought further out of the money options, maybe like the 200 call, maybe. I'm just guessing here on why you're not seeing a lot of movement in it, because we did have a pretty large gap up, a lot of movement, and now it's kind of consolidating. Is it time for Intel calls self-starter? I don't know. Let's look at Intel. I would say no, because I'm long AMD. So we had these price targets out here, potentially where it could stop the bleeding, and it kind of was bleeding well below the 50 percentile move. Now the 618 potentially can come down to $45-ish level. We can see that potentially looking at seeing, I wouldn't say it's slowing down the bleeding, which is kind of stopping. I would like to see it for a couple days, maybe even a week, to kind of consolidate within a very short kind of a trading range, and then we can potentially see another kick higher or lower and kind of start seeing how it plays out. I think that the overall market has digested what happens. I think that it's going to be somewhat important how Apple reacts tonight as well, because Intel is somewhat still of a component within some Apple processing powers. I know Apple is going to be making and doing their own CPUs or processors in the future, and Intel was a large component to all their laptops and especially their MacBooks Pros, and of course their desktops as well. So I think there could be potential more downside, but I think after next week we could kind of see hopefully this consolidate around $50 or consolidate around $45. Shane, will you break down Lulu for me for sure? Love that yoga pants. Drink some water. What did everyone bring for a snack today? I'm eating these peanuts, and I always bring the worst snacks to these live streams due to the fact that it's just dries out my mouth and all you hear is just me slurping on water. So Lulu, I think it did okay. The earnings was kind of a miss, but it still held at 21. They bought that exercise mirror company or whatever, kind of got another boost up. Now it's kind of consolidating around the 21 here. You really see a really sharp pattern here. We kind of been in a squeeze here, kind of fired, then went back into a squeeze mode. We just did have the parabolic SAR switch to the top. Again, this is more or less consolidating. If we start seeing the ticks and 5 and 8 cross through the 21, aka around 317, 316, excuse me, we could see some potential downside, but the 34 and 50 they're pretty close for potential retracements or support if it does consider coming down to those levels. Really, I just want to kind of highlight this in a quick little range here. This is normally, you just want to kind of see how this plays out. The trend is still kind of grinding higher because you can really see with the highlight of the yellow line within this box. But it's looking like there's a lot of overhead pressure around here on 332 to 335-ish level, just not having enough momentum and force to really break through that for whatever reason. Let's look on the weekly side. Weekly side, this thing just looks absolutely beautiful. Let me do this here. Let's go back here. We're going to do a fib here. I bet you this is like the 1618 up here. What am I doing here? Yeah, so kind of a little bit off. So it's the 1618 is pretty high at 346, but let's see. Yeah, that's interesting. See how that plays out. But initially looking for that next upside target around 350. It looks right now it's just kind of consolidating there, my friend. Yeah, Dean, I can't do anything on Intel yet. I don't know if you missed my analysis. It's going to be very difficult to do anything in there because, again, it's really just a very beaten up ship. It has a lot of holes in it. It's kind of was sinking. It's now kind of using duct tape and boards to kind of patch and heal its wounds, and we'll see how that plays out. But AMD really just killed it. Billy, what's up, my friend? Thank you for joining. Yeah, we look at Penn. Yeah, so this is, again, I know they got in other divisions now with once they bought, what did they buy? The Dave Portnoy, Barstool Sports. So the previous swing high to low, that's where we get the fib numbers from. We really did break above that 78.6. That's where around the $31, $32 level is at. And now we're just kind of trading in a range in between that and the previous high around $40 like you highlighted. So we can kind of see that just kind of trading sideways here. We do have earnings next week. It looks like next week on the 6th for a potential higher mover. We can look at that coming next week, but it's really just kind of trading in a range. Again, that overhead pressure is being really close around $40. Let's see what the overall average is. The move next week is basically $5. So $5 would potentially put it above that $40 level if we continue and things are just doing great there. There's no signs of completely correction or anything yet because the momentum strong RSI is kind of stagnant, but it's on the higher end of the stagnant. but the volume zone oscillator is just kind of really stagnant, and we need to start seeing this push up to above like plus 30 to the plus 40 here, and really get some volume going in here, because you can really see the volume. This is the blue bars in the back here, underneath the chart here. It's been very light, and since this overall run up here, we're just really seeing just kind of just trading sideways. It's really in the consolidation period there. So looking for to the upside, we can break 40, and to the downside, support's going to be coming around like that $32, $31 level. What's up, Big? We'll do plug. Yeah, so this one is not looking too hot. So this is the 5 and 8 is starting to cross through the 21. We kind of see on how if the 34 can kind of come in here and give it some support. By support, I mean it could be basically kind of giving it a hug. Oh my gosh, we're seeing Apple run here. It's up for nearly $5. Amazon's up 50. Wow, interesting. So the 5 and 8 really crossed to the 21, looking for support around the $7.80-ish cents, where the 34 EMA lies. If that breaks, we could be seeing some potential downsides to potentially the $6.75. So basically another dollar drop. That's going to be the next level of support. We do have a squeeze. It's really not looking too pretty here. Potentially could be firing short. We do have earnings as well next week, so that could be a saving grace if earnings are great. But you really see here that the downward pressure has just been continuing going lower and not really being able to really pump up and try to get any kind of movement going. As I always talk about the example of imagining trying to have a basketball underneath water, you're just constantly pushing it lower. That is basically what's happening here with the parabolic trend here. It's just continuing pushing it lower. It really needs to really break out, and potentially would like to see it kind of if you want to be bullish on it, it really needs to consolidate here, potentially pop up to the 21 again, build a base, and get that momentum to go higher. But with earnings on the horizon and the squeeze looking like it could fire short, it's not going to be a one that I would like to go long until I see that stuff happening there. Oh, Chris, you did have the 200 calls? Yeah, so you're still, since earnings has happened, I'm pretty sure if you sold those options right in the morning when the stock was up substantially higher, you should have had a little bit of higher price target than that. More of a profit than you are now. Dino, can you look at space? Yeah, we can look at space. How's that? I haven't looked at that today. So, kind of like we kind of talked about from the previous swing high to low, we really wanted to see a break above 25.78 due to a lot of the market selling off and just tainting a lot of things. We did see a slightly movement down, never really closing above that 50% retracement. Looking for that 21, it did kind of come in around the 21, and actually the 38.2 percentile move at 21.83 for that target there. So that was pretty significant to see if those numbers can continue to hold. We do also have earnings as well coming out, I believe next week, first week of August, to see how that plays out to the long or short side. Again, complete coin flip. We have no idea, especially this company has like zero revenue. It's very speculative. It's not a blue chip stock by any means. So you have to be very small with this. Not trading a lot of size, especially, and this could be a very volatile trade without a doubt. Cvx Ipo coming, Tesla vacuum manufacturing plant partner in Germany. Oh, nice. IPOs, like we talked about initially, are super volatile, so I normally don't like to buy IPOs until like 2 quarters have passed, because those first quarters they can really spruce things up. Seed, can we do look at OSTK? Wow. Is Overstock getting in the drug business as well? or they talk about cryptos again. And it looks like they had a really strong quarter there. That's awesome. Yeah, with a move like this, there's nothing much I can say. It's just looking like it's really just moving substantially higher. Really can't really give too much guidance until we kind of get a small pullback here. If you're just looking at straight moving averages, we're looking for really just downside support between potentially the first level around 60 and the next level around 50.25. Again, it's been really holding this 5 and 8 and coming down to the 20-day a couple times on this overall trend higher. Since we can look at this as well, it's really broken through that third deviation channel. Usually that can't be sustained too much, so we can potentially get a small ticks higher, potentially consolidating and kind of waiting for those moving averages to catch up there. BKD. Are up like crazy since we chatted in the beginning of the week. What do you think about them now? Yeah, I think they're, as we talked about, we did add them to our list. I don't think Well was doing a little better than I thought. This thing, again, we talked about it Sunday. Was that right, Ariel? Sunday. Was that Sunday we did that last live stream? Or was it Tuesday? So it's basically the 26th. It had a pretty large move this week. Again, being pretty substantial. I remember you, my friend, that we saw a lot nice move higher. Again, I really think it's still in that consolidation period here. We are seeing stronger movement here. We are seeing the 5 and 8 cross through the 21, and that those parabolic SARs are on the bottom as well. That's a great sign the past 4 days, because we really had that large movement higher come into Monday. We can really see this potentially see. It's going to be hard to do like a fib analysis on this because it's not moved up so substantial, so it's not even anywhere near some potential price targets. But looking at potentially the first overhead line of resistance, if this movement and this can continue going higher, looking around $3.14, $3.15 to the upside. We also do have earnings on the horizon come out basically in less than 2 weeks. That could be, again, throwing a curveball or a wrench, whatever you want to call it, into the play here. But this looks, I like it. Like, it looks strong. I can't remember which one I liked better. I think I liked this one. So this had a squeeze. It fired longer. It looked like this actually performed just slightly better. Let's see. Up 10-ish% since the closed low of that day. Yeah, looking strong here. They're both really just kind of getting above the 21. This one also has, it's basically some overhead resistance around 55. We're kind of close to that. Let me do a fib on this one for you, my friend. Yeah, so this is the 50% retracement, really looking a lot of overhead resistance, potentially at 58.72. That's what I remember now. I remember this one has had a little bit more room to run. I like this one a little bit better due to the fact that it's really above a lot of those key metrics of the moving averages, and especially the key average of the parabolic SAR readings. So actually, I don't know if you're trading that, Ariel, but we might be buying. I kind of like it. Anything can happen, so let me just look out in some. So I'm looking at some options here within the Tastyworks platform. There's not really much activity on any of these options, so this is kind of we're talking in just September. There's only been traded less than 15 options on the call side, so that doesn't sometimes deter me, but could be slightly, yeah. So potentially looking for that 55 movement. I like to buy something closer into in the money, maybe do some kind of spread here. I don't want to limit everything here. So 22 days, really betting on earnings being strong. Seeing a lot of call options going on here. It's a little too wide for me. Looks like it's potentially some movement coming in here. Really hoping for potential. I might want to go further out to give myself a little bit more time. So $8. There's not much options activity there. So what I'm looking for is basically I want something that has at least a sufficed amount of open interest, aka meaning something that there's going to be some liquidity there for me. So really I'm just seeing a lot of liquidity here around the 55 and 57 and a half. Again, on the put side, these are just being sold naked or potentially as a spread. So there's someone selling the 45 and then buying the 40, or someone's selling the 50 and then buying the 45 or something, vice versa. Let's see. I might have to be... There's a lot here, though. I like that. So September, there's quite a bit out here. So I'm going to put this out here if I can get filled on that. So I'm looking at trying to... this has not even been traded today. So am I likely of getting filled? No. I could buy the 55, but I like to be a little bit further in the money to kind of give my options a chance. You know what I'm saying? Alexandria, what's up? You're welcome, Ariel, my friend. Best of luck. Thank you for all you do. You're welcome, my friend. Can you take a look at PR? Is that Ralph Lauren? Consider high furniture sales due to thinking it will move. One of my favorite furniture stores. Well, actually, never bought anything from there, but I was like, once I make a couple million, I can buy furniture from there. Holy moly! Oh, purple mattress. Oh, I have one of these. This is crazy. I didn't even know this was a publicly... Is this purple mattress? Is this purple mattress, Alexander? Carol Basket. Shane. What's up, you, my fellow kittens and pot whatever she... Oh, God, I can't... I watched a couple episodes. That was just a terrible show. Terrible, crazy story there. This is Purple Mattress, the company. This is a newer IPO, it looks like. Very interesting. It is Purple Mattress. Okay, thank you. Yeah, this thing looks... I didn't even know this was a publicly traded company. Gosh darn it. So I love their mattress. So we had the very first version. We bought it 2014, 2015. And there's a little bit of issue with it. It kind of just like, I wouldn't say deflated. It just kind of got a little rough. And they actually sent us a brand new one. So that was really good on their behalf. So kind of a... I have to thank him for that. But we can kind of see here with the previous swing high to low and those Fibonacci retracements, really had a tough time around $20 or $19. Finally broke above it. Now we're looking at the 1618, which is around $23.09 for potential continue consolidation here. But with the squeeze just fired long, a lot of volume coming in, RSI and volume zone oscillators just really printing higher. This is a little bit, wouldn't be able to buy into this right now due to the fact that we could just see some further consolidation here, or even further upside. I don't know how that plays, but there's just some early warning signs of potentially hitting I want to say a peak, but it could be potentially getting off the gas a little bit and seeing how this kind of trades sideways for a little bit into earnings. Looks like earnings is a question mark sometime in the second week of August. But yeah, this is a great looking chart. I wish I would have known about this maybe 2 weeks ago. I could have bought in basically around 18, 19 and really rode this rid up. So if you're in that, Alexander, really good. Give yourself a little round of applause. So if you buy one, you have to make sure you have the proper bed frame. You need to have a lot of supporting bed frame, the slats going across, because if you don't, a lot of people complain about that it just really conforms to, if you have like one of those I forget, I don't know the terminology of furniture, but you can see those slats they don't go across every 3 to 4 inches or even more. It doesn't conform very well, and it kind of turns into like a Jello pudding. But I think it's a fairly comfortable mattress. Already made a few thousand off of it because of a dude mentioned in Wall Street Bets. Really? Did someone make a lot of money off Wall Street Bets? Nice, dude. You killed it, dude. That's a great trade. That's awesome, dude. Just, yeah, the reason I get some criticism sometimes when I kind of talk about Wall Street Bets and like, oh, why are you giving them any light? There's no investing advice there. Yeah, there is actually. First of all, there's learning lessons for people to learn how to trade options properly, or not YOLO money. It's kind of entertainment or fun, whatever. But there's some of the great tickers that I can find are from like really skewed parts of the internet. Without a doubt, like it's pretty crazy. I don't think I'm gonna get filled in the well here. Let me see. They're trying to. Oh, I got filled. I went up 5 cents. We'll see how that goes. Gotta add that to the list here. Oh, I just did that wrong. There we go. Get rid of that. All right, let's go. Let's see what's going on here, boys and girls. Hey, what up, Kelly D? Thank you for joining. No problem, my friend. Oh, never too late to join. What will Facebook do this afternoon? It's probably going to do flips. That we can look at Facebook here. Again, Facebook kind of, we bought this large dip here. We actually went straight calls, which is a very rare for me to do with just really short-term trading. Basically, flip those calls out 4 or 5 days later for a nice, huge profit, honestly. Now with the 5 and 8 kind of crossing through the 21, really having a lot of issues here at the 1272 extension. That's, again, $248 here. Just a lot of ceiling of resistance here around that level, potentially looking to break this with this really strong earnings. But again, earnings, Kelly, we don't know where that can go. Like, they can have some great numbers. They can say, oh, we grew our ad revenue by 1,000%, but if they give guidance saying, oh, well, we saw these large people boycott us and XYZ, and that could diminish some of our potential ad revenue, and then you get the analyst or the talking heads on TV talking about it and just scares everyone, and then everyone comes in Friday morning selling for no apparent reason without even doing the proper due diligence on understanding on what the company actually did or how it actually makes its money. Chris says, I learned how to gamble with options on Wall Street Bets. Chris, you and probably 900 other thousand people that do that. Get some water. Yeah, Wall Street Bets is very entertaining without a doubt. We can kind of see what's popping at Wall Street today. The second marker. Oh Lord, this is gonna be. That's funny. It's just a continuous loop of look out. There's a pillar ahead. It's always just fun stuff to watch on Wall Street Bets, without a doubt. It just makes you laugh, right? Look at this. And people just making fun of, always when they had the Nikola stuff, I always liked this. Kodak just for selling this is it's just somewhat interesting. I like it's always just fun to watch this, especially of course the Kodak stuff. It just went through the roof. Again, really exploded with the overall market. I'm just getting nearly up 2,000%. But just fun times to kind of see what's happening on Wall Street Bets. I always take it with a grain of salt, though. Yeah, exactly. I love it too. It's very entertaining, and it gives a certain different aspect to looking at the market. And I like it that it gives folks the potential, the dip in the water of the financial markets, and potentially have them become much more knowledgeable and educated within the financial markets. So I think all in all, yeah, there is some obscurity and crazy stuff on there, but overall, I think it's really nice and entertaining. So I actually want to get the Flex Grid up and running here. So we're going to do Facebook here. We're going to do AAPL here, Amazon here, and then Google here. So once earnings comes out, again, this is looking at, I want to make sure I'm looking at the right thing. So we should be able to see, hold on, let me see this real fast. I want to make sure, yeah, extended trading zone. Oh, come on. Why does this pop out? Thought that wasn't cool. That just disappeared. That's weird. How my live news is not showing on this one. Well, that's a bummer. So again, what we're looking for is potentially, once the market closes, I think we had a time on this when these options or basically the companies reported. I believe Apple's always later. It's like at 4:30. So they're saying Google and Amazon should be directly after 4. Facebook should be 5 to 10 minutes after 4, and then Apple's going to be the last one to report, really. And then we'll see how that goes without that. Again, we're going to be potentially seeing a lot of movement into the close. So we can just look at the Qs here. Let's go ahead and actually just look at the futures here. We can see that movement really getting into, again, looking here on the NASDAQ futures. Actually, we can just look at the Qs. Really tight consolidation here the past 2 weeks. Really just waiting on, again, large companies' earnings. We had earnings last week between Microsoft and Tesla. Now we're looking again to the really large companies of Google, Facebook, Amazon, and so in Apple are going to be a large chunk here. So looking for the Qs to really break above 264, 265 if you're going to be on the bullish side of things. We are in a squeeze. Volumes on oscillators looking pretty selective here. Again, not going to be running out and putting all my capital into anything like this, but we are selling some premium around the 250, 260 level here on the Qs personally, and we'll see how that overall plays out. But this is going to be a very interesting time to see on how all these options, or particularly these companies, report into the close today, especially with, again, some market volatility, it being an election year, or whatever excuse you want to put on potential some turmoil in the market. Another company that we bought into was Chegg. Have you guys looked at Chegg? It's CHGG. We bought into it basically here on the 21 here, around 72 to higher 71s, and just really had a nice rip higher. Looking, again, really to break here above that, closing above that $80 level, again, in anticipation of more folks needing to work, that overall looking at potential schools coming back or not. Makeshift. The next market crash. If we can guess and figure out when the next market crash is going to happen, we would all be millionaires, or actually billionaires, if we can just dictate when the next market crash is coming. The thing that I was talking about, I don't know if some of the folks caught it within the live stream, within Discord. I've been using this advanced decline line for the NYSE. Kind of on some other studies here. I think I have the 50 set up here. Do I have the 50 set up here? What do I have on there? I have the 10. I want to change that back to the 50. Apply. So when you're looking at this, you're really looking at the advanced decline line when it starts kind of it's called a divergence. So once you see like this downward trend here and you see an upward trend here, that could indicate lows. As of right now, we're seeing a slight downtrend, but we're not going up, so it's nothing significant. So if we were rocketing up higher, if we were at like 282 or 290, then I would be concerned if I start seeing the divergent line or the advanced decline line heading back down to the 50-day here. So that's going to be the concerning part. If I can see that really trailing into that and really breaking below that, we could be seeing a slight correction or a slight sell-off. But I'm still working with this. I'm really reading a couple papers about this and then really diving into the knowledge of how it accurately tells a trend. Basically, it's really a way to tell if a trend is still intact. Of course, we use the 21 and 34 for kind of telling us a trend as well, and then a combination of RSI and things like that. But that being said, this is kind of something I want to kind of add and potentially to my analysis for some longer term trade stuff. What up, Bob? How you doing, my friend? Dean, MNST is breaking into all-time high. What is your opinion? If it's breaking an all-time high, it's going to be difficult for me to kind of tell you what to do here. So we'll do this here. So we're going to do, actually, this is how you do Fibonacci Retracements. So from previous, of course it did click there. And then we can do this one here as well, previous high to low. Looking here, so this is really indicating here, actually on the shorter time frame, from the previous high to low, that overall divergence at 1618 percentile move at $77.65 is the next overhead ceiling of resistance, and you can kind of see it kind of patterned out here. So if it closes above this and potentially continues going higher, consolidating around here, that's a strong trend there as well. Since I can't be telling you to go long on this or buying into this right now due to the fact that it's earnings on the horizon and it just, again, making an all-time high, it's going to be very difficult for me to kind of use what I use for my trading parameters to kind of play around with that one. How's CRM looking? We can look at CRM. That's actually one I looked at the other day. Yeah, so CRM is really tight consolidation here around the 21, which I kind of like. Parabolic SARs and the underneath it. We have earnings further out in August. They usually report much later than all the other folks. I think that it's going to be strong, but with it's kind of really bucking the trend here. I like to see one of those parabolic SRs switch. That's great. It's still above the 21, but we're seeing a lot of tight consolidation here, potentially for a break higher. So looking at that, we look at a previous swing high to the low, and that's going to be coming in at 195 potentially from the previous high from this one. But then we could do a miniature one from this one as well. So we do from swing high to the low, That's going to be pretty interesting as well to kind of see here. Really having that previous high to low is basically right around the potentially the 50% retracement, and we're seeing at the 618, which normally has some potential overhead ceiling of pressure around 195. That basically kind of comes in exactly where the previous high was as well, from the first Fibonacci retracements that we did from that. So then this, looking at this, looking for potentially some Fibonacci numbers kind of lining between 215 to 217 could be an interesting target to go for. The 215 to 214, again, that's going to be a pretty large move from where we're currently at. We really just need to see that 195 breakout and get above the 198 up to the all-time high of breaking the 202 level to kind of see this continue going higher. It's really in this consolidating period. We would like to see it by the end of the week at least above the 50% retracement, and really would like to see it above 195, especially close of tomorrow. What are they saying for the move tomorrow? Let's call it $4. So it's going to be asking quite a bit to kind of get it back up to 195, but as long as it can kind of break above the 193 to 192 7-ish would be a great little move for CRM. But if we start breaking lower here and start breaking below the previous low of like 187 and even down to the 50-day here to 185, that could be some little oopsies and some potential trouble ahead if we really break lower within the overall market and the overall trend of the NASDAQ. Bob, what do you think of Wells? That's Wells Fargo, right? Yeah, that's not looking pretty, my friend. So this one, like we talked about, let's look at Bank real fast. So Bank of America looks better to me. You can see here it's above the 21, potentially trying to get to the 200-day here, but poor Wells is kind of a not a fun little thing here we're currently seeing here. It's below 21, the 5 and 8 are kind of going lower. The squeeze is indicating potentially going lower. It's a lot more pressure going on here, potentially seeing some overall just like nonsense, and just seeing I'm not saying this can go lower and break the 22, but it's just not really going anywhere. Kind of just consolidating, not seeing the same momentum and movement that we're seeing going forth. Oh, I just closed the wrong window here. My thing just, my chat just like refreshed again. 1 second, let me scroll down. Again, I don't know how much more it can go down, but again, we're talking on the low 22. That would be my initial target. It could go down to 22 again if things just don't get turned around at Wells, it looks like. We can do Fibonacci extensions here to kind of get a better. So previous swing high to the low to the high again. Initial target, yeah, be basically around $21 to $22 if it can continue going lower. And that's not the if you're short it, you're happy about it, but I think this is just there's not much movement going on here, and the growth potential, and it just kind of people are not really buying into this stock to really see the next Tesla or something like that. It's a bank, first of all. They could just switch to the drug business and run up like Kodak. Nelson, what's up, my friend? It's running out done. Where will we retract it for the? So Piton. So Piton we kind of talked about on this Sunday night stock watch or live stream. Really kind of broke above this pattern we're looking at here. Still in a squeeze here. It's still kind of just consolidating. The parabolic SR has switched this week as well, so that's a good sign for the bulls if you're on that side, Nelson, to kind of see this kind of carry higher. Just the FYI, we got 5 minutes left of trading here. Let's see my positions here real fast. I'm going to double check before I say. Yeah, so basically, again, Piton has been holding that 21 very well. I think that 21s are going to be a really strong tail if we can look at that really continuing, holding that pattern here. If it starts coming down to the 21, even to the 34, that trend is still somewhat intact. We really need to see the 5 and 8 cross through the 21 and get those ticks, breaking those parabolic SARs and really breaking below that 34 EMA there. Again, with earnings on the horizon, that's going to be a pretty large question mark to really see on how they are performing with the new stay-at-home stuff and how many people are subscribing / buying their bikes. Or treadmills now. I think they have treadmills. So you're saying to buy Hertz. You're funny. It's 100% all hype. There's actually investigations of insider trading. So, is it KODK? So I think it's hard to see on a chart like this because it's just so blown up. So it's hard to prove insider trading, but we can see that the understanding of volume. So a lot of algorithms really just are tied to volume indicators. On if the algorithm starts seeing like, hey, that's really strange that there's stock that has not seen any volume at all is just ripping. And of course, we can look here on this particular chart of seeing the amount of volume that we're talking about. We're talking in excess. I can't even tell you the little amount of volume they had previously at the $2 mark, but in the pre-market hours, seeing volume of like 10 times, basically seeing about 12 million shares traded, that's an indicator of a huge move coming. Usually it's going to happen all in the pre-market, then kind of trade sideways, and then this is really when it blew up. And this is when it got on CNBC. All the other folks all the talking heads were talking about Kodak at the time of how it's going to be the whatever reasons, like the CEO is now in the drug business and blah, 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 blah. They got a loan from the government, whatever they want to put and spin on it. It's just a very interesting time because even this is strange. It's kind of had a small run up basically from like $2.36 all the way up to $3 and what is that? So basically had almost a 50 cents run the day before. That's a pretty significant move in a stock that has not seen next to nothing. So interesting to see on how that plays out. I'm sure it's going to be very difficult to see and find out how they do that. Let me just 1 second. Someone's pinging me. Oh, there's the bell. Let's go ahead to the flex grid and we'll see on the options market here, or the trades here. So we got Facebook, Apple, Amazon, and Google. So we'll see how those guys really work out today. looks like Amazon has movement. So what we're really looking for is on the news side here, on seeing how it plays out. Looks like, oh my god, Facebook is really going down to 32. Again, what we're looking for is that the news stuff kind of coming out here on the news tab. You normally will see like revenue beat, EPS growth, blah 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 blah, whatever reason. You're just going to see some pretty crazy movement back and forth, and just really rapid selling and buying, and a lot of speculating, especially within those time frames. I don't know why this is not working for me. Let's do... Oh, snap. I hate when I hit that button. Oh, God, I hate that. That on-demand button. Ooh, that just really rips me. They put the button, so I want to add this to another video where we can go back in time and look on how things played out at a certain time frame and kind of see how it traded. But they put this button right up here next to the... And I got... Man, this is kind of annoying. So we're going to get rid of this one, and then we're going to add another one. Of course, that just manipulated that terribly. Why is the chart not showing? Wow. Okay. That didn't work out. Okay. That's kind of working out there. But it's kind of not an even spread here, so let's kind of make this somewhat even here. Looks like Apple's hasn't reported anything yet. Neither has Facebook. Let me get rid of this stuff here. Sorry, again. Yes, move it all. Then we're gonna go to a 1 minute chart, and we want to make sure you can see extended hours. Okay, let's see if that loads there. Nay, wonderful. Thank you, Thinkorswim, for compiling the information that I wanted. I need to make this custom more. This is, ugh. It just really shrinks down. It looks like it just have enough room to really, I wonder if I can just make these even out a little bit here. Alright, let's just kind of leave it at that. Let's get rid of that little thing there. So here we go. Okay, so I think what initially what we're looking for is, okay, Google just gapped up pretty big. Nice. EA has dropped. Okay. Let's see. Google gapped up pretty big from 15, but I'm not seeing any news come through here. What we can do, sorry, I gotta continue to mess with this. What we could, oh, there's Facebook. Facebook is 140, nice. Looks like it's popping. Facebook reports second quarter earnings results. The algorithms love it. Fantastic. We are long Facebook. Nice. Nearly up to 250 there. That's great. Yeah, we're really looking for that 1272 to really break. That was around the 248 level, which we talked about previously before the close of the bell. So again, it looks like it's potentially looking at having some resistance up there. Again, nothing to get too excited. We need to see on how it opens up tomorrow, because Zuck can say whatever and really just flourish and really make things go crazy there. That's a pretty decent move within Facebook. That looks really solid there. We're getting some more data out from Facebook here. Google's just popped a 1560 there. Still nothing from Amazon. Apple's going to be the one that's going to usually be the last one to report, honestly, and we'll see how that plays out. Let me get rid of this. So this looks... Get that going. There we go. Yeah, pretty good on Facebook, so hopefully you guys got some Facebook stuff. You can do backtesting, makeshift play with some stuff, so I'm working on, since you know the Patreon stuff, looking at building some kind of algorithm to kind of help me look at potential weekly stocks that could be interesting stuff to kind of share with the Patreon or the members. Potentially going to be starting that YouTube membership as well for folks who want to support the channel directly. Always do not, the Zuck he's an alien. Don't doubt the Zuck. Because I don't know if you guys knew this, so Facebook was supposed to have earnings tomorrow, but they had to move it due to the Senate hearing stuff. So, very, very interesting. Again, this is going to consolidate around here a little bit, but again, we're nearly up. We were up well over 10-ish bucks after hours trading. Again, wait to see on how that overall opens up. Again, still nothing from the overall other folks here. Someone said that EA kind of came down, so let's look at EA real fast. EA is pretty much flat. It did go down again. Didn't know. Probably, of course, earnings is not coming out. I need to. Let's see if I can move this just so slightly, if I can get that to populate. And nope. So it looks like EA just had earnings come out. It looks like it's just popping up there, without a doubt. Amazon is flying. Amazon announced the second quarter results. There we go. Up to 31.25. That looks great. 31.30. Nice. $31.45. 31.50. Come on, come on. What are we looking for in this one? I don't have to have fibs on this one, so let me go to the main chart real fast, and I'll go to Amazon. We're looking up. Why am I having a 4-hour chart? We'll do a previous swing high, previous swing low, and then we'll go back to this flex grid. All right, so this is good. So we're above the 31.70, which is a good key point of the 618 retracement there. Looks like Google's not out as well. So Amazon just killed it on earnings. Oh my god. Yeah, looks like it's kind of trading in a pretty substantial here. Let me get rid of these. Okay, there we go. So this is great. If you're long Amazon as well. So we're long Amazon, Apple, and Facebook. So those have been a really good trade for us into earnings here. Selling those puts. Google, we didn't have a trade in. We just couldn't get it in on time. But this is going to be really helping the overall market. You can kind of see the NASDAQ up as 100 points right now in after hours trading. So this has been really strong. What was Facebook's EPS? Let me look here. I'm not usually the one to follow earnings per share, but we can kind of... It was 1.8. The estimate was 1.39. So really good move out of Amazon. We like that. If they can hold this, it'll be really great into tomorrow. let's see. So it's currently up basically like 5% almost. So up like almost up to 3120, which 3,200, which would be great. So it did have it high at 31. That if it can really break above that 78.6 percentile mode, which would be around 3246, that would be gangbusters without a doubt. Really strong there. If that trend can really go up to that, maybe just guessing a little bit too much there. Facebook looks like it's consolidating around basically the 246. For this one, again, we always talked about this overhead pressure around the 248 level. We'll see on how that overall plays out. Apple's kind of moving here. Let's see. Let's move this back over so I can kind of see the Apple announcements. Oh, too fat. There we go. Apple's announcement usually will not come out for the next 11 to 12 minutes, usually around 4:30, so we'll see how that plays out. Amazon looking really strong here. Love to see it above the 3169 to 3170 to kind of see this trend continue. Facebook's looking fairly strong still, really getting up higher. We're looking at the NASDAQ right now at 120. Yeah, this looks super strong. Hopefully everyone is doing well with their stocks. Google, still nothing out of Google yet. I think it's just really just on a sympathy play, and they're just kind of moving on the coattails of Facebook and Amazon, and the same you kind of see with Apple, because again, there's no information out quite yet. Apple is out. I'm not seeing it on my screen here though. Yeah, this move is somewhat not. FB's at 250. Yeah, we're looking for FB to break above 248. That would be really strong, very strong bullish move for Facebook to get above that level. Again, Apple, I'm not seeing anything there. C1 soup. Same with Google. We do have, again, Amazon and Facebook already at earnings, and I did. Yeah. I like big bets. What were you? Did you trade any of these, Shane? It looks like Amazon's kind of hovering around that 618 percentile move, which is around that 3170 price target there. See if we can hold it after the conference call. Very, very, very interesting. So, if I remember, Apple is always the substantially later one, and it takes a lot of time. Usually it comes out at 4:30. 4:25, 4:30 Eastern Standard Time. You bought a straddle? Okay. So you play the Qs instead of individual stocks. Smart, smart. You're thinking 4:30 for Apple? Ooh, boy. Let's go jump to the chart for Apple real fast. And do a fib there. So we're really looking for above 390 would be great. 400 would be fantastic. Yeah, Twitter. Yeah, how could we start on Twitter, my friend? Yeah, Apple's notorious for not reporting right after the bell. really having to wait for it. Again, NASDAQ is up 120. It looks like Google just reported. Looks like something just happened at Google. Nope, I still don't see anything on Google here on the news. Yeah, I think Apple is, again, moving with the sympathy of Facebook and Amazon, the overall NASDAQ ETF and futures market, really. Come on. Google has had a large move basically from 1560, basically up like $25 here. Amazon's slightly above here around Facebook's around 240, 250, so that's a good sign there. So we have some longer dated options in that we've kind of just traded around. Amazon's looking really good as well. Like to see that print higher. We have longer dated sold puts on that into the Apple. Again, is going to be trading sideways a little bit. Again, really waiting for around that 425, 430 time frame and see how that overall plays out. The Apple's really, oh lordy. Something's happened at C1. Huge buyer on the tape. What are you seeing this at? So we look at the time and sales. So what we're going to see with Google, actually let's just make these a little bit smaller now because this is kind of a unrelative. So they already came out. We can really see. So what we're looking at, this is the time and sales tab on both Google and Apple. So we start seeing a lot of green or red coming through. We can basically predict that earnings is out. We'll definitely see that comes through. And then on the bottom here, where this is the level 2, is basically where we're seeing some overall exchanges or potential bids and ask, or so the bids and ask here. So someone's looking to buy buy 50 shares here at 385 and so forth. Look, there goes Google. Now we're going to see a smorgasbord of selling here, looking like it's not. It came back down substantially too. It's around 1550, 1540. So it's a little bit higher than we're currently looking at. It's 1556. You can kind of see these prices. Green means buy, red means sell, and so forth. Chris, is EA out yet? Let's look at EA. I don't think so. Yep, they just released. They released right after the bell. They earned $1.25, and they're just kind of flat. So Google's not up as much as I thought, honestly, because it closed at 1538. It's only up right now like $10 ish, because it's trading around like 1554 to 1550. So nothing too substantial here, like we're seeing in Facebook really just taking off here, and of course with Amazon as well, basically skyrocketing here. Apple, no, this EA. EA is fairly flat there, Chris. Let me get rid of this one, AAPL. Again, Apple's going to be taking maybe 10 more minutes at least. So Google, it's actually not that high. It's kind of coming down a little bit. Let me get rid of these time and sales so we can kind of look at this chart just a little bit better. Let me do this. Customize. We're going to get rid of this guy. And we're going to get rid of this guy. There we go. There. So Google kind of holding here. What's that? 1540. We closed at 1538. So really nothing too really at home about. There is earning PBS was for 10.13 versus the street at $8.32 or 23 cents. Revenue at their consistent, so a little bit higher revenue, but again, that doesn't matter that the stock can't go flying. It could be the outlook. It could just be potentially something else, and we want to wait to see on the CEO talking or vice versa to see on how this plays out. We're not in Google at all, honestly. Not really the cup of tea here. Kind of already looking forward. We're basically looking for that 1530 level to really hold, and potentially could be seeing that here with that. But yeah, we're going to have some pretty substantial moves here. Again, Apple, I know it sounds like a broken record. It's going to be at least another 8 to 10 minutes before it reverts. Apple going back up. Yeah, Apple is just going to be trading sideways until those earnings comes out. Apple's the one that I'm most had the biggest question mark about, honestly. I think it will do well. But just never know. My opinion doesn't matter. The Apple's stock market gods don't care about what I think. But I place bets on that it will at least hold the 375 and 380 range. Is Amazon still going higher? Amazon's at up $171. Holy moly. Let's put up Amazon back over here. Yeah, so we're looking at Amazon at the 78.6 percentile range. That's the 3246 level for Amazon. Again, we'll see how that plays out. That is pretty substantial there. That is a lot of move there. Again, Amazon's going to be one of the better performers in this market without a doubt. With all the pandemic, the virus, whatever, they're just going to be crushing it there. That is super strong without a doubt. Yeah, Facebook is doing well. Yeah, we want to see it above that 248 range there, makeshift, for Facebook. So Amazon, if it can close, oh my God, that'd be a great trade for me. I hate to talk my book, but holy moly. Yeah, Facebook killing it. Let's go. EA kind of had earnings, kind of like not doing next to nothing there. Did it have a huge run into earnings? I can't remember if EA had a huge run into earnings. What else was reporting today? I had a list somewhere. Where did I put it? MGM also reported, right? MGM reported they lost less than the street thought, so nothing too crazy. Got up to like $17, kind of came back down. Interesting as well. What's a AMDA? Oh, Ford. Yes. Ford. Let's look at Ford. Why is that one not loading? Ford looks good. Did it come out? Ford adjustments beat EBITDA 500. That looks good. Ford, we really need to see it above 7 to really hold that trend there. Good call there, Kelly D. And then what was the other one, Ethan, you're looking at? AMDA? This is no longer existing, my friend. This is, you can see the date on 11/5/18. It's no longer on, it's a ticker. WWE? Yeah, how's that stock doing? Holy moly. I used to, oh my God, this is bringing back memories. I was trading this up at $100. I was like, there's no way. I was trying to short it up here. I was like, there's no way this is going any higher. and I shorted it probably around 90. It ran up to 100. I got scared and I got out of it. And this is exactly where I wanted to short it to. That would have been, oh, such a beautiful trade. ADMA, okay. I'm not sure what this company does, but it's some kind of pharmaceutical looking like company. I would consider this somewhat of a penny stock because it was trading down to $1.45 here. So as of right now, it's kind of looking like it could be breaking out again. Whatever news with the pharmaceutical company can really break out. That 200-day is really going to be your best sign for potential upside resistance. Look, it's broken above the 200-day before, but this kind of came right back down. So I'm sorry, Ethan, not really much for me to add there. Let's go back to the grid here. Nothing from Apple yet. Trip, what's a good sell for FB? I don't know what you mean by that. I wouldn't. I'm long FB, Facebook. Check FA. What is that? Fastly. Okay. Did it have earnings as well today? Oh, coming out. Yeah, this thing has just broken out here. It's really been consolidating here, and once it hit that parabolic SAR trend switch, it really just kind of took off as well. This looks super strong here. I really like it. It's hard to buy now because it's had a pretty large move today, nearly up 10%, but that looks really strong. Looking for the breakdown here from the swing high to swing low. Really breaking above that 618 here around 92.36. Looking for next upside potential around 97.2. Derek says team. Yeah, team did report today, right? Yeah, it's kind of down like now. That's we were afraid of that. We kind of did talk about that just ever so slightly. I'm going to go back to here, and we're going to go to team. Yeah, that sucks for them. I think it just had a little bit too much hype. A little too much hype, and expectations weren't met. So Apple should be coming out any second here. Going to be getting this away so we can kind of give Apple its room to run. See how that plays out. Apple usually pretty prompt on coming out at 4:30. So we're looking for Apple to the upside. We're really looking for it to test 400 potentially. So we look to the trade tab. The movement is $13. $13 where we're currently at could easily reach 400. We're really looking for 400 to the downside. We wanted to kind of keep it above the 50% retracement, aka around the 378 level. The moment we all been waiting for. Boom, there it is. Earned a lot. There we go. Come on, 400, 400, 400. Come on, big money, big money, big money, big money. Come on. I think you guys need to slam that like button for Apple to hit 400. Please, everyone hit the like button right now. See if we can get 400 up. Let's draw a nice, a little sexy oval up here for it to kind of. There we go. Look at that. There we go. That magical oval really just took it. There we go, boys and girls. Really trading here. Now you're seeing a lot of green coming here on the time and sales. We're having 500 stock to trade. 5,300. What in the flip? Well, we can actually size this up. So Huge trade. Someone's selling here at the 400 price. These are basically the algorithms here without a doubt. Nice, guys. This is fantastic. Whoo, here we go. Hope everyone's long Apple here, because Apple just took out this fantastic looking move here. Nice. And again, this is pretty close. What are we looking at here? This is probably a larger move than we expected. Let me pull this up here. So we're up nearly 20 bucks. The trade was basically saying the move was only going to be around 13.14. Again, this thing can kind of come off down here, but we're at 405, guys and girls. Nice. There we go. This is wow, what a move there. That's fantastic. Apple commits to carbon neutral by 2030. Good for them. Whoa, what did I see there? Stock split? Apple reports 4-for-1 stock split effective August 24th. Wow. That's cool. So you're going to get 4 stocks for every one that you're currently having. So I love to see that. Nice. That's great news. I like to see that. I wish Tesla would do that. I wish Amazon would do that. I really do. So folks that can really just trade, that many people can buy one share of Amazon. That 4-to-1 split, August 24th is going to be huge, guys. I'm telling you. That August 24th is on a Monday. So basically 1, 2, 3, almost 4 weeks, a little over under 4 weeks away. That's really going to... So I played stock splits before. They can really move. They can really move. So this is going to be pretty impressive, without a doubt. Fantastic, everyone. This is great. It's one of the greater earning days that I've had altogether, without a doubt. Let's look at... This looks really good, guys. Nice. Wow, it's still climbing. I think that it's honestly that stock split is really just making everything go crazy sexy, and just making everything just kind of run up higher, without a doubt. Who's doing the stock split? Apple is. Everything will be preconceived down to that price. They'll use a certain model, and everything should be fine. If it hits 411 tomorrow, this thing could run. If it hit, 411 is the next overhead sign here. So we are outside of a standard deviation move, so we can kind of look here on... Let's look at the trade tab. So we're looking at, let's just call it 407 here, and then we can go here. Oh, not an Apple. So 411 is basically, we're not out of this deviation channel, but a huge gap up going to be in tomorrow, at least above 400. So we're at 404 today. Right now, 404 would be basically right here. If we can get a move above that, so basically the 408, potentially the 411, that can be a huge movement here and really drive it up in the short term to extremely prices and really get outside of those deviation channels we kind of see here. Apple is not one to be known to do that to the upside, but with a 4-to-1 split is definitely going to make things look a little bit more attractive for the overall company, and just be a little bit more lured to the retail investor. So this is really interesting to see. This is fantastic news without a doubt. That kind of makes up for my lost trade in Zoom. Nice, Jake. Fantastic, dude. Makeshift. I'm not going to read too much into that, honestly. We'll see if they keep the price up, but I think it's... Let's be honest. Like, you walk down any street corner or anything, everyone has an iPhone, they have earbuds in, or they have some kind of iPad. Well, but when I used to go on the... I guess we don't need any more stimulus, Mr. Bear. Thanks for joining, my friend. Hopefully you're doing well today. Yeah, this looks interesting. Fun to see this stuff, guys. Guys, on that note, I'm going to be actually working on a quick video, actually, after seeing that news on the 4-to-1 split. Definitely would love to see how that plays out. We're going to be doing some quick research on looking at some potential. So this has happened before. So if you look at... Let me get rid of this real fast here. Boop. So we go all the way back on a monthly side. You see that we've done a split here before. Basically, that was a 7-to-1 here. And you saw what happened after that. It really just took off. This is on a monthly chart again. It just really took off. So I think this is not a best tell of what could happen. Another one we want to look at was like a Netflix. So Netflix can also had a split as well. And after that split, it kind of just traded sideways. But it did take off for at least a month and a half to 2 months there. And then kind of consolidated here. But Apple is a totally different game, but without a doubt. I'm trying to think anything on top of my head that had splits that went pretty much parabolic. I'm going to do some research, and then we'll get back to that, guys. Again, guys, thank you so much for dropping by. Please don't forget to hit a like and subscribe if you haven't already. I greatly appreciate everyone out there. If you want to join the Discord, it's completely free. We have a lot of fun folks there. Mr. Bear and Makeshift can definitely attest to that as well. Again, guys, thank you so much for watching. This is Ken from the Dyslexic Investor, and I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Peace!